What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and here's an interesting article. Vice clutching pearls in a weird way, trying to, quote-unquote, cancel South Park. And it's remarkably unaware. It's remarkably the lack of self-awareness. The fact that these are the type of people and authors that South Park made fun of in Season 19 with like the PC bro and safe spaces and things like that. Is I mean, you just look. I'm gonna read it so you don't have to. Vice used to be kind of the edgy, cool news outlet. Now all they basically do is push one particular side of the aisle's beliefs and push their own version of outrage culture. And it's sad. It's definitely a sign that hard times are coming for Vice, I'm guessing. You know, there are people like me that genuinely like to watch their documentaries and kind of read articles on their website. Now they're seen as no different to me than something like BuzzFeed. And this article is exactly why. And I hope you'll appreciate the coverage. And if you do, remember to leave a like and a comment on this video. Your interaction with my videos is basically the only way new people find them, and it's super important for the channel's growth, and I'm very thankful for that. So there's a long article that came out a day or so ago about this, and a lot of you have been sending it to me, and most of it just kind of builds the story, builds the kind of the lore of South Park, goes through the history. These are all things I didn't disagree with. Just good quality journalism. Talking about how South Park is, you know, essentially an equal opportunity offender and things like that. And by the way, Vice is the same outlet that put out that Sticks and Stones, Dave Chappelle's new comedy, which currently has a 99% user review with 12,000 ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, was not funny and should be skipped. It's a joke, literally. And maybe I'll cover that later because I just think it's funny to cover the bias that media has. And there's two particular films that really illustrate it, the way that they're reviewed and rated. So this article talks about, you know, PC principle, and, you know, crybabies, all things that I agree with. Now, interestingly enough, this outrage with respect to, quote, PC culture, I think it's weird that they put it in quotes because it literally is PC culture, has been the centerpiece of South Park's last few series. Season 19 brought in the PC principal, a muscled frat bro on a mission to impose politically correct behavior on the residents of South Park. Several of them quickly joined forces with him, delighting in the opportunity to peacock their newfound wokeness and punish those who fail to keep pace. Later episodes introduced literal PC crybabies, upset everything without understanding why. I mean, yeah, this is reality. I mean, if you spend any time on Twitter, this is who they are. And, you know, the side note, you know, it's easy to get sucked in and think normal people are like the people you interact with on Twitter. They're not. Normal people are the people you meet at the pub or at the grocery store or in your, you know, at a baseball game. It's easy to forget that most people are normal, but Twitter and media, particularly legacy media, are a vast outlier. And we'll actually cover that in another video later today in that Rotten Tomatoes video. But, you know, Vice is, you know, the embodiment of that old meme. Remember that meme that went around and was like, somebody paid me to say something you like is trash just to get clicks or something along those lines. That's basically what Vice has become. But we're going to laugh at it, and I'm not going to send any visitors to their website. So, you know, hopefully you'll see that this article doesn't merit a lot of reading. So, PC has little to do with empathy and everything to do with virtue signaling and sort of tribalistic zeal for punishing those who don't conform. I agree. The takeaway is simple. Sorry. I agree with that takeaway. In an interview with Vulture shortly after the season 19 aired, reporter asked Trey Stone, Matt Parker, whether they were concerned that their anti-PC stance aligns them with Drumpf. Oh my God. Of course, you know this person's going to go on. I guarantee they talk about GG at some point. While Stone was quick to point out that he and Parker don't think they probably agree with his views, they were equally eager to frame PC-ness as a phenomenon that makes people afraid to laugh. See how this article is written in a way that, I mean, they clearly disagree? I don't know. I 100% agree that political correctness has made people afraid to laugh. It's made comedians afraid to make jokes. I mean, how profoundly out of touch are you, Vice, with your own article that you literally link in this article whining about Dave Chappelle? Is this written by the same person? Oh, I bet you it is. Okay, it's not. Like, you link an article whining about jokes, and then you frame that, you know, that you seemingly disagree with that statement. This is not to say that the show suddenly became right-wing. Those seasons still devoted ample airtime to ridiculing people of all sides, we'll say. I like how they call right-wing people, you know, and whatever. Okay. But it's overriding opposition to the idea of ever conceding any amount of personal freedom to accommodate others aligns with some of the most venomous ways of politicians and pundits have weaponized the free speech argument in contemporary discourse. There is no wiggle room when it comes to our First Amendment. It comes to our free speech. And this should be true in video games and in movies and in mobile games and whatever video game or pop culture thing you want to consume. Absolutely nothing should be off limits ever. You know I upset a good chunk of my subscribers. You may have 300, 400, 500, 600 people left when I pointed out that I didn't agree with the Final Fantasy VIII censorship and that I would not be purchasing it in the remastered version because of it. And people were offended by that, saying that it's just not a big deal. Well, these are the people, in my opinion, if you don't think it's a big deal, you are a pawn in their drive to ever be removing any artistic freedom, your freedoms of speech. You are the person that will agree. They will use you to push these things on people. You need to understand that it's an amendment because it's important. And free speech and things like that are not something to be mocked or to be scoffed at or to be used as a part of the aisle. It doesn't matter which side of the aisle you're on. You should protect these rights. Sorry for my mini rant. I'm just frustrated with a lot of the conversations I've been having around this in the last 2 weeks is with so many people that are just like, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Yes, but it is a big deal because that is what people use to get you to agree to all their many small changes. Fox has, of course, long thrived on getting people mad over the fact that you can't say anything anymore, and the chance began as a place for people to post disturbing things that made them laugh and evolved into a breeding ground for... there it is! The AR and all of such other stuff. Most recently, YouTuber Steven Crowder has positioned himself as a brave defendant of free speech thanks to his refusal to stop employing terms we don't like. And by the way, that's why I'm never going to use their, if you're watching the screen, you know what they said, but it's, you know, the R word and the H word. I'm not using those words to describe anything anymore. Look, you can say whatever you want. What it really boils down to is it's words we don't like, and that's how I will always reference that. While professors and motivational speaker Jordan Peterson has continually used the reasoning to justify his refusal to use pronouns, again, so that's his right. Meanwhile, Drumpf seems to persist in believing that bloviating about shadow banning of people and how they should be able to say Merry Christmas is an effective way to convince his base that he is a champion of their personal freedom. Well, like him or not, he's not wrong. If I want to say Merry Christmas, I can. But the thing that he gets wrong about this is by the same token, if Starbucks doesn't want to put it on their cup, they don't have to put it on their cup. I mean, are we really going to be upset You should be more upset that you're getting suckered into paying $6 for mediocre coffee. That's what you should really be upset about. Whatever they put on their cups is their right. You don't have to shop there. You don't have to buy their crap either. The idea of shadow banning, how they put it in quotations, again, that is a provable fact. Anyway, at the end of the day, these so-called free speech initiatives are all deeply, furiously concerned with the way other people are living their lives. The gender they identify are their... No, I mean, I don't think that that's a reasonable... Their skin color. What? Who? I consider myself a free speech absolutist, and I've never considered myself concern myself with the way other people are living their lives. Here's the concern, is when it infringes on the way I'm living mine. You do you, as I've always said. There's probably 100 videos of me saying, you do you. As long as it's not against the law, I think you should be, and you're not hurting anybody, cool, you do you. But when it infringes on my rights, for example, being forced to use somebody's pronouns that I don't want to. Now, again, people will misrepresent that. If I know you and I know what the deal is and what you want me to say, I always use those pronouns. Now, if there was a law enforcing that, I would not agree with that. There's a difference. It's the polar opposite of just let people be ethos that early South Park espoused. But it can be spun as part of the same fight because the feeling behind it is similar. No, again, this whole paragraph is ridiculous. It's not about just letting people be, is it? It's about changing people. It's about telling people what they should and shouldn't say. Look what just happened to ContraPoints. This is somebody who is trans, who has a huge following on Patreon and on YouTube, has high quality videos that, while I largely disagree with many of her takes, I respect as a creator. She just got basically canceled by quote unquote her own people for misspeaking. I mean, this is ridiculous. What about that is about letting other people live? No, you want to control her. You want to control what she says. And if she says something you don't agree with, it's hashtag cancel insert word. Cartoonist Charlie Trotman once quipped, "The worst thing about nerds who become bullies is that you'll never convince them that they're anything but victims." I'd say that's true. But then they go on, oh, here we go. She was talking about specifically, but it's observation that applies just as easily as to this battle with PC culture. I'd agree with that. It's hard to think of any better embodiment of the South Park's recent hashtag cancel South Park ad campaign, a seeming attempt to energize its fans by literally pretending that someone is trying to censor the show. No, you, of course, as you prove again, you don't understand humor. I'm assuming that the ad campaign was a joke about cancel culture. The truth is that no one really has made much of an effort to censor South Park in some time. Well, because it's the only show keeping Comedy Central on the air. There are two of the world's richest comedians whose signature show cost Comedy Central $200 million to renew back in 2015. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, here we go. When South Park acts like it's still the rebel throwing rocks at the establishment rather than a platform for the grievances of two insanely rich white men, it's playing the same game. What does their skin color? I thought you were complaining about when other people were concerned about their skin color. But why are you worried about that with the creators of South Park? Interesting. Vice, is full of morons, in my opinion. It doesn't understand modern culture. If it does, look, they're a media industry or conglomerate, or I don't know what you would necessarily call them, an outfit company. They understand how to get clicks. They understand this. So either one of two things is true. They understand internet culture and they understand how to get clicks and how to get a video that I'm making right now ripping on them, because apparently to them, no press is bad press. Although I disagree with that, because my coverage of it is eroding any credibility you have. Imagine 10 years ago having people put you in the same bucket with BuzzFeed. That's what you've become. So either you understand kind of the culture of things that will get a buzz going and you're just writing this for clicks, which is sad of a news agency, or you completely don't understand comedy or even the words you write or the modern day society in general outside of Twitter. Either way, Vice is long past any reputable sourcing and should be treated as such. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon. I sincerely hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, before you leave, make sure you leave a like and drop a comment on it. It's the only way to help the channel grow in today's YouTube environment. Above, you'll find a link to subscribe, and make sure you turn your notifications on, or if you just want to check out another video, there's one of those up there too.